birthday episode. Hey guys, welcome back to Anna's Guide. I'm so happy that you're here, and this week is my birthday. By the time you're hearing this, I will be turning 28 in like 3 days. Some people, I feel like on TikTok, I've been seeing this trend lately where people are like, when someone who's like 25 meets someone who's 20, and they're like, you're 28? I just didn't expect it. And I am now the age that I didn't expect. I am her. We are grown. We are older. And truthfully, I still feel like I'm 22. I will like eternally be 22 in my brain, I think. And whenever I ask my mom about it too, she's always like, no, you literally never, you like look in the mirror and sometimes stop recognizing yourself a little bit, but you always internally feel like a younger version of yourself because you were always still you through the years, which I actually think is like kind of poetic and cutie and pretty. So this week I turned 28 years old, which I don't know, it's like an interesting feeling. And because of that, I feel like we have to have a special episode where I share with you 28 things I learned by the time I turned 28. It's just fitting. It's meant to be. It sounds like the perfect little dream. So this week's episode is going to be cute. We're going to rattle through some. We're going to tell some stories. We're going to hang out together. We're going to navigate this like little bit of me getting older. And with that, I'm going to give you my thorn first because it is that I have not had my birthday cry yet. And you know that it's going to hit hard when it comes. Like I can feel it. I'm actually like on my period right now, so I'm surprised I have not gotten it yet because I thought that it would have hit me now when I'm in my like maximum emotional period. Maybe this isn't like my maximum emotional cycle portion. I think it's right before it is. Still, it hasn't come yet. And so in case you don't know what a good birthday cry is, it's that you just like mourn the fact that you're getting older. Don't we all do that? Is that not a thing? Is it just me? Am I alone? Please don't let me be alone. My bud for this week is that my boyfriend's little sister is visiting. So I will have someone in my house all week, which is really fun. I love having guests. I love having visitors. And especially with my birthday coming up, she's going to be helping with the decorating, with the preparation. We're going to be doing some LA girly things. I feel like I've already scheduled us Pilates classes and hikes. And she wants to try a new coffee shop every morning in LA. She lives in Michigan, so shout out Rachel. She's going to be making the trek out this week to California and hanging out with us. It was also just her birthday, so we're like little birthday twinnies almost. And then my rose for this week is that with this birthday means that we need a closet refresh, and I did it last night. I cleaned out my closet. I'm cycling this new era of life. I'm becoming older and grown, and if you saw any of my videos from this week on TikTok, I kind of visited a little portion of my life that is definitely more vulnerable and something that I've been navigating. It's just like the changing of our bodies as we get older, the changing of my body as I am becoming more fit and more in my fitness journey. And I'm purging the things that don't serve me. Get them out of here. We don't even need them. So if you need to do that this week too, you can join me in that. And I would love to see you guys kind of refresh this week. Birthday or not, every day is a chance for a new beginning. But because it's a birthday season, it feels like a calendar reset. This to me feels like a January 1st. I am lucky enough that I have a March 30th birthday, so my January 1st comes only 3 months after. So it's like my little like first quarter reset, you know? Like you have the beginning of the year where I reset. Now it's my birthday. I get like a second chance if I didn't do it right the first time. So for this week, I've been thinking a lot about lessons that I've learned, getting older, following my dreams, things that I've done. I feel like I've had a lot of like little things come up throughout the week that reminded me of what life was like as a kid and how different it's become as I've gotten older, and how lucky we are to just get to, I don't know, experience all these different years. Like I feel like some years hurt a lot more than others. I definitely have birthdays that I remember hating, and I'm really looking forward to this one, which I think is not only one of the lessons that we're going to talk about in a minute here, but something that feels like such a blessing to get to say that it's like I'm actually really excited about this next year and excited about the journey that's ahead of me. I'm not for some reason mourning the like loss of the last year. I'm kind of excited for the new beginning and excited for the age and the wisdom that comes along with that, and of course getting to share every moment of that with you guys. So let's start from the top, which is lesson 28. And my lesson 28 is get yourself the little treat. That feels like a great starting point, especially lately. I have been such a treat girly. I'm like, after dinner, I cannot go to bed without a little scoop of ice cream or something. And it has brought so much joy to my life. Nothing tastes better than sitting in front of your favorite trashy reality TV show and eating a little treat. So that is my lesson 28. Lesson 27 is that you can't please everyone. And that is the hardest lesson I think I've had to learn. That's also why I wanted to be so close to the beginning of this conversation is I've been doing social media and been an online presence for almost 5 years now. I remember celebrating my 23rd birthday subtly on social media. And what's crazy is that as you're growing up, you realize that the only person that really needs to be proud of you is yourself. And so you can't please everyone. And you're not supposed to. I think that that's what's so exhausting is if you're trying to make everybody happy, you're slowly just stripping away pieces of yourself. And you're becoming so neutral that you don't have an opinion about everything or anything. You don't need an opinion on everything, but you do need an opinion on some things. And so don't be afraid to stand your ground and not please everyone. Lesson 26, it's okay to change your mind. You guys have seen it through and through in my life, from doing college in something mathematical, to doing grad school in something artistic, to being a creator, to trying modeling, to trying acting, to trying writing. Life is long and you can do all of it. So don't forget that it's okay to change your mind, and it's not embarrassing. I think I remember that a lot in college. People were like, oh, I changed my major so many times, or oh, it's embarrassing. I said I'm going to do this thing and I need to stick to it. You need to do the thing that's making you happy. You need to do the thing that's bringing you joy. So it's okay to change your mind. Number 25 is a classic one. Call your family. Call your mom and dad. I know. They can be frustrating. As you're getting older, they are too. Don't forget to give them a ring and tell them you love them. And even if your family is not your parents or your siblings, call the people you love. They're still your family too. And so make sure you're always checking in on them. Number 24 is definitely my birthday of this year lesson, and it's that health is wealth. The more that I've been feeling better about my fitness journey and my activities and what I'm doing right now and how I'm growing, and like, guys, I'm doing a triathlon in 2 weeks. Do you know how crazy that is? How cool is it that our bodies are strong enough to do things like that? I'm just saying this now. At age 28, I will be doing a half Ironman. I'm speaking into existence now, but that's next on the radar is to do a 73. And for now, this health is wealth, and we're going to take advantage of that. Okay, our lesson number 23 is talk about your feelings even when it's hard. This is one of the greatest blessings of my current relationship, and I learned this lesson probably from the last 3.5 years of dating Brew. And it's that you would be surprised how much more connected you are with your partner when you really talk about what you're thinking and what you're feeling. And when you have someone that you can share that with, changes the game. I think that like oftentimes even relationships prior, I was constantly thinking about who I wanted to be for my partner, not who I was as an individual, and then sharing that life with them. And this is such an important lesson, is to talk about how you feel, how you're doing, who you are, what your goals are. Go deeper than the surface. I think about this even with strangers. Like, I think what a lot of us are looking for in life is connectivity. And what a lot of us are looking for in life is to feel like we're not so alone. And so being able to talk about your feelings, the intimate little pieces of you that make you special, make you unique, surprisingly enough, actually make you more and more like the stranger sitting next to you. So talk about your feelings even when it's scary and even when it's hard, because you're not only going to see the growth in yourself, but you're going to see the growth in your relationships too. Number 22, my lucky number, failure is a good thing. Woo! I love that. Failure is such a good thing because it shows you two things. Either one, if you fail and it mattered to you, you know what you want. So you're going to keep working towards it and you're going to try to not fail again. Or you fail and you learn a lesson. Whether the lesson is maybe this isn't what you wanted, or maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be, or maybe that you're not as passionate about the thing that you were doing as you thought you were. And that's also, that calls back to why change is okay. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to try new things. And failure is simply just a direction. It's not a ranking. It's not you're bad. It's maybe you should try this differently, or let's circle back. Let's put a pin in this one for a moment. So I think oftentimes we put this pressure on ourselves. We have to be good at everything, which is going to be another lesson we're going to talk about in a minute, but you don't. And also, maybe your failure isn't as bad as you think it is. Like, sometimes I think we see stuff and we're like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to know that I failed. You're so much more critical on yourself than anybody else is. Everybody else is worried about their own failures. No one's even thinking about yours. For lesson number 21, it is growing up means growing out of things. If there's anything that I've learned this year, it's that small habits make a huge difference. And while my love for coffee may never fully disappear, it turns out I actually probably should start my day with a little bit more nutrients. That's why I love Symbiotica. They make staying healthy way easier and, dare I say, kind of fun. I actually get excited to take their liposomal vitamin C and magnesium L-threonate packets. Plus, spring is here, and we've got an amazing deal for you. There's no better time to hit refresh on your routines. Symbiotica's liposomal vitamin C packet has been so easy to incorporate into my life. I even have convinced Bru to start trying them with me in the morning. They're equivalent to having so many oranges and all the nutrients, and the flavor is delicious. They're easy to take, and we all know that I'm a traveling girly, so being able to have something that helps me keep my immune system in check and stay away from getting sick is the best option. It's easy to take on the go and so easy to travel with too. And it tastes delicious. And now it's even a travel essential for me. Symbiotica's vitamin C has as much vitamin C as 10 oranges. Each packet really packs a punch. Not only does vitamin C keep your immunity strong, but the biotin in the formula helps keep your skin plump and radiant when you take it consistently. And let me tell you guys, it helps you glow from the inside out. With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's the real deal. Symbiotica supplements never contain seed oils, toxins, preservatives, artificial additives, or natural flavors. No unclear ingredients or misleading labels. These are the cleanest, most effective products out there. So if you're looking for a spring refresh that doesn't involve a 6 a.m. cold plunge or a 12-step skincare routine, Symbiotica is it. Wellness made simple. Go to symbiotica.com/Anna to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. That's CYMBIOTIKA.com/Anna for 20% off and free shipping. Whether that's relationships, hobbies, careers, jobs, friendships, anything. In my 28 years of being on this earth, if I've learned anything, it's that I've changed. Thank goodness, right? It's such a good thing that I've had the chance to get to like grow and change and see myself differently. It's even funny to sit back and watch videos that I've done from way back when and be like, I'm so different from her, but she's still such a part of me. And just because you grow out of things or you're growing older doesn't mean that you're leaving behind any of the versions of you in a bad way. In a good way, you're leaving them behind. In a good way, you're evolving. You're not any less of yourself, if that makes sense. Sometimes I used to become really afraid that when I was growing up, it meant that like people were going to like the other versions of me better than they like the version of me right now, because I was growing up and my experiences had changed. And, you know, like things happen in life that make you maybe not so soft or not so naive and not so wide-eyed to the world, I guess, in a way. And that always made me worried that I was like, what if people liked the other version of me better before I grew up? And the truth is that I'm still her, even if I'm growing up and growing out of things. So I hope you keep that in mind if you're ever worried about that, you know, growing up is so scary. There's a part of you that's also not. Lesson number 20, invest in your hobbies. I have the toxic trait of turning all my hobbies into my careers. You can too, for $19.95 a month. No, it's or more depending on the hobby that you pick. But what's funny is I have a really interesting toxic trait of turning all my hobbies into my career. And that's a good thing, I actually think, because then every single day I love my job. I also sometimes come to hate my hobbies. But the good news is that when you have hobbies and things that make you feel joy and passion, it makes you so much better at what you do for work. Like, for example, I feel like this is something that you don't always see online, but like I really love doing wheel turning pottery. I love throwing clay, okay? That's what it's called. I feel like that's like the fancy terminology. That's something that I feel like is so fun to invest in. And if I didn't put my time into doing little things like that I love, then I wouldn't have the chance to come back and be even more creative for the other career that I have. Also investing in like getting the software that makes you a better editor, getting the color correction LUT that's going to make your YouTube videos look way cooler and more cinematic. You know, like these decisions that you make now can pay off so long term in the future. And I feel like investing not only in your hobby, but investing time into your hobby makes your overall quality of life so much better. And that's something that I've really found to appreciate. I used to think that I was like, oh, I love what I do for work, so I don't need to have hobbies. You need to have hobbies even if you love what you do for work. And with that, it falls right into my lesson 19, which is that balance is everything. Having balance between work, life, relationship priorities, friendship, alone time, quality time, time out, time in, self-care. Not only I'm a block schedule girly naturally, but it allows you to like divide your brain into stress and pleasure. It allows you to divide what it really matters to you into what has to get done. And I feel like you can feel fulfillment through both of those. You can find fulfillment by making time for what matters to you and find fulfillment in completing the tasks that have to get done. And so balance is everything. Balancing your life out. Also, rest. That's something I often forget in the scheme of balance. I sometimes see balance and I say, doing something and doing something else. And that is not always balance. Rest. Rest is the other side that I often forget. But I'm reminding myself at 28. Number 18. This is something I will say once and I'll say it again. Every day is a chance to reinvent yourself. It's the same thing as growing up and growing out of things. It kind of goes hand in hand with changing is a good thing. I think like we often wait for the milestones to be the moment to change a cycle of life. Like January 1st, like on a birthday, like when we hit 6 months, or oh my gosh, I'll wait until the new year and I'll try it, or I'll wait till next month to do it. Or we often forget that every day that passes by could have been the chance to say it was day one. You know? Isn't there a saying about that? One day or day one. Like you always have the opportunity to choose that like tomorrow is your day. So if you need to reinvent yourself, you can use my birthday. I give you permission. Steal March 30th and reinvent yourself. Also, maybe we share a birthday. We get to reinvent ourselves on the same day. But don't feel like you're stuck in a pattern just because timing doesn't feel right or just because something has to like, you have to wait for a special moment or a special time or a special sign. You can do whatever you want at any time. How terrifying and exciting all at once. I love that for us. My lesson number 17 is a good one. I think all of these are good ones. Let's be honest. Things that bring you joy are worth the splurge. Invest in your hobbies, but also things that bring me joy on a day-to-day basis are like a cup of coffee. And I think oftentimes we like hear from other people about saving and don't spend money on stupid things and don't spend money on that. And I agree in some way or another that like there's definitely areas of life where like your finances are like, okay, listen, I can't spend on that, or I can't go here, or I can't do this trip right now. But I do think there's an element of like life is long. And if your cup of coffee is what's getting you through the day every day, you should splurge on the things that you enjoy and cut back on the things that you don't need. You know what I mean? Like there's little things that we spend money on every day that I realize that are like unnecessary. But I think the things that make you happy and make you feel good are worth every penny, because I don't think I've ever looked back and been like, this is actually really funny. This is like a very niche experience. I'm going to share this as my experience with this. I got a bike recently in my adulthood, a bike for my triathlon. And I actually heard the guy said something to me where I was picking between a lower level bike and a higher level bike. Okay. And I love doing triathlons. And the guy said to me, I've never had someone come back after buying the higher level bike and said they want to trade it in for the lower level one. But he's like, I would say 1 out of 3 come back after buying the lower level saying, I wish I upgraded the first time I came around. And honestly, if it brings you joy and it makes you happy, and I know that doing this sport that I'm really interested in right now has such a massive impact, not only on my life, but my mental health, it was worth the splurge. I was like, you know what? You're right. I deserve this. And I love this hobby and I feel passionate about it. And I'm going to be in the Olympics in 2028. I'm kidding, because that's not the point. The point isn't winning. We're going to talk about that later. But the point is, sometimes it's worth it. And I think I agree. I feel like I like look back and I'm like, man, I should have gone and gotten that coffee, or I should have gone out with my friends and had time with them, because that's sometimes stuff that you can't get back. There's little things that you can get back, but some of them you can't. So if it brings you joy, it's worth the splurge. Number 16 is a lesson I learned 2 years ago that was one of like the harder eras of my life. I would say 2 years ago, I was in probably one of my lowest mental health moments to date. And it's lesson number 16. It's okay not to be okay. This is going to be a short and sweet lesson because I think we all have been here and we all have felt this. I learned this lesson the first time that I had to like ask to go to therapy pretty much and like find how to find a therapist. I asked my older sister and I was like, how do I find one? And I will never forget sitting on the phone call and she was like, so what's wrong? Like, what can I help you with? Like, what's kind of our like precursor call? You know, I don't know what you call it, but like we kind of had this like introductory call before I actually had my first session. And she was like, so like, tell me why you're interested in going to therapy. And I legitimately in that moment, I could be brought to tears now just saying this, but I was like, I was in such a dark area. I was like, I just really need someone to talk to. And I didn't know who else to do that with. And it was something that I couldn't explain. And I didn't actually know what was wrong, which made that question even more complicated. And sometimes you're not going to know what's wrong, but it's okay to not be okay. And it's absolutely even better to ask for help because you never know when you need it. And I'm so happy that I did that because I feel like I got my little bit of sunshine back. So highly recommend. My lesson number 15 is something that I think people often call me, which is confident, but I would like to remind you, in 28 years, confidence comes with age. I've only gotten more sure of myself as I've gotten older, but it also still fluctuates. Like even now, even when I feel like I'm my most confident, my most sure of myself, I know who I am as an individual and I am her and I love her and she's great and I'm so proud of her, it still goes up and down on a day-to-day basis and I still have to think about who I am. And so confidence comes with age is my lesson number 15. My lesson number 14 is maybe one of my favorite lessons that I've learned this year. This is my therapy lesson, okay? Buckle your seatbelts. You don't have to be the best at something for you to be good at it. You don't have to be the best for it to still be good. Like, I think we often put this pressure on ourselves. I'm going to explain this to you. That we have to be the top tier in order to be talented at it. We have to be the top tier in order for it to be good for us. And by good, I mean, like, for it to have an impact. You know? Like, listen, I've been doing pottery for a year and I still can't make a really good mug. That's why you haven't seen them, guys. I mean, put 2 and 2 together. Come on. Doesn't mean I don't love doing it. Doesn't mean it's not great for the brain. Doesn't mean it doesn't still bring me joy. Similarly, the joke that I made earlier, triathlons. I love a triathlon. Am I the fastest? Absolutely not. Is it still good for me? 100%. Am I still enjoying myself when I go on and I do it? Every time. Do I want to die during like halfway through the run? Yes, but like we're still here and somehow I circle back and I want to do it again. I feel that same way with marathons, and I think if you grow up in a competitive family or even like in sports growing up, you're constantly ranked by like your success being solely based off of being the best. Obviously, there's first, second, third for a reason. And so I think in our adulthood, we forget that like being the best shouldn't hold you back because if you're not the best from even trying it at all. And like with the marathons, the joy is in just finishing it. The joy is in getting it done. The reward isn't being first. The reward is doing it at all. And that's a sentiment on its own, that you're that good. Also, one last little similar thing that I'm going to think about, what really inspires us and that I saw even more held true this week was my friend Jo posted a story on her TikTok this week about her being on a live stream and somebody commenting like, why would you still post outfit of the days if they don't go viral? And she had the best response. And this is exactly what I think is so true and so genuine about this. Because if you think that things going viral online are the only reason to be doing it, you've lost the plot of the story. You've lost the point of making content. It's not about having success. It's about having joy in creating. And I feel the way about everything. It's not about being the fastest racer. It's about having joy in the competition and being able to have this like pursuit of trying something new. Don't be afraid in holding yourself back just because you're afraid you're not going to be the best at it. Do it because it brings you joy. Number 13, a good lesson that is self-explanatory. Self-care can mean anything. A bubble bath, a good book, a quiet night, a night out with friends. Maybe you need that recharge with your friends. Self-care can mean anything, and I think taking time to appreciate when you get that chance to do it, 10 out of 10. Lesson 12, you'll only ever be as valued as you value yourself. I think oftentimes we miss out on the chance to appreciate how far we've come and what we've accomplished. And because of that, it can be overlooked by other people too. I think something that's also really important is to be a cheerleader for the people around you, because you're going to instill in them their value. And for me, like, this story rings true from when I was in grad school and kind of growing up as well, honestly. I always loved writing. Since I was a kid, I always just like enjoyed telling stories. And I mean, I talk about that all the time. My storytelling comes in through my videos, but I always liked pen to paper and journaling and writing. And I thought that I was bad at it because in school I was not very good at literature and English and reading. So I was like, oh, then I'm a math and science girl. Naturally, I pushed to the side this idea that I was ever going to be good at the English side of things and just accepted that I was a math and science girl. It wasn't until I get to grad school, I have to take a required writing course as one of my preliminary gen eds of my master's. I sit down in my writing class, I write something that I'm really proud of, and one of my professors calls me up to the front of the class and has me read it to the class and instills in me that my writing was actually really, really good. And that's maybe one of the first times that someone else had ever said that my writing was good, other than like obviously my mother, okay? To have that though, that moment of I thought that I was good at it, but I wasn't really sure, to have somebody else say, no, you are good at it. And having my value be put at the forefront and knowing that I could value myself in that space because I knew that I had something that I was passionate about and talented in made me feel even better. So not only should you value yourself, but don't be afraid to value the people around you as well, because it's going to help them feel that same amount of confidence and instillment in things that they're passionate about. Lesson number 11, your work does not define you. I think that's something we really need to think about as we're getting older, because I think a lot of us put a lot of pressure. You pretty much spend your whole life going to school and learning about how to be a good employee in a way. Like, you're learning about the structure and lifestyle, and you have these things to look forward to in school, like first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade. These moments of achievements. And then you get to your workplace and you realize that this is it for the next like potentially 50 years. Which is really intimidating, and honestly what really scared me when I had first gone into like more corporate work. But keep in mind that you are so much more than the work that you do. You're the individual behind it. You're all your brains, your smarts. You have so much potential and incredible things that happen outside of your workplace that make you so unique in you. And I even think that it's a thing of how I've talked about this on an episode before, how when someone asks, what do you do? And one guy says, oh, I'm an engineer. And then you say, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, I play tennis with my friends on the weekend. You know, like, we as Americans, I think, are often defined by what work we do, and that our career is our title in life, versus our title in life being something so much more true to who we are as genuine people. So as you get older, keep that in mind. Who do you want to be? Lesson number 10, I've talked about this on a podcast episode before as well. Imposter syndrome comes from a scarcity mindset. As we know, I am a member of the Itty Bitty Committee, which means that I don't have a lot to work with when it comes to bras. It's sometimes hard to find things that fit properly around as they do outward, if that makes sense. I feel like the girlies that get it. And for me, one of the pain points is finding bras that fit comfortably and still make me feel confident in my body after I put them on. We've heard me talk about them before, and I will talk about them until the end of time, because SKIMS creates some of the most comfortable, beautiful, seamless collections, including the Fits Everybody collection. I feel like all of these items make me feel so confident and good in my skin, and as we know, some of the most important things and part of an outfit are what's underneath it. And so wearing clothes that makes me feel confident is the first step to having a fit that I'm proud of. Shop SKIMS best intimates, including the Fits Everybody collection and more, at skims.com and in SKIMS stores. After you place your order, be sure to let them know I sent you. Select podcast in the survey, and to be sure to select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. When you are afraid that you are walking into a room and don't have what other people have, it's because you're afraid that what they have isn't abundant. It couldn't also be in you. And it is in you. And I think that's what you're often forgetting, is that when you walk into a room, what makes you so special and unique is you as an individual. And seeing somebody else have charisma doesn't mean you have any less. Seeing somebody else feel like they take up the room, chances are they are just as nervous as you are, and they're just hiding it better. So don't be afraid to enter a room and say, you know what? I'm going to be here 100% myself, and that is enough. And me taking up space and me being a light and me being a joy is not taking away from anybody else. If anything, I genuinely believe that like when you walk into a room and you have like a fire inside of you, everybody else is like candles that get lit by that fire, and everybody else becomes glowing and elevated. So don't be afraid to walk into a room and be that first match that's lit and share that light with everyone else in the room. Number 9, my mantra of 2025, consume less, create more. It's one of the most important lessons, I think, for this year. It's removing that comparative mindset like we just had talked about with imposter syndrome and scarcity mindset. Consuming less means that we're spending more time building a life that we dream of versus comparing our life to the people around us. And also, I think we can sit and be planners for forever. You can sit and watch videos online and say, I'm going to do that, I'm going to try this, I'm going to do this. Acting on those beliefs and acting on those dreams is so entirely different than just consuming them or planning for them. Our number 8 lesson is invest in experiences, not things. Even in your own hometown, I've lived in this area for, I don't know, a year and a half. And there's been a Pilates studio that I've been wanting to go to for the year and a half that I've lived here. I finally went for the first time yesterday and it was incredible. And now I want to go all the time. And I'm realizing that it's so much better to get to invest in like an experience like that versus, I don't know, like that can be your cup of coffee in the morning, is to get to go to your yoga class or try something new. And so if you have the chance to say yes to trying new things that are going to be adding to your life experiences and who you become, do it. Number 7, foster an animal. I miss Sugar and Baby daily. I'm sure you guys do too. They were so cute when they would just sit on my little podcast studio space with me. And the truth is, it was one of the coolest experiences. I cannot wait to know that I'm going to be home for a while and do it again. Already, I'm like counting down for that era. And yeah, if you get a chance to foster an animal, I highly recommend it. It's okay if you foster fail. I sometimes regret that I didn't foster fail. But I'm also really happy that they found such a loving and incredible home they get to spend forever in with a sweet woman who's going to take care of them. So if you get a chance to get back to your community and foster a pet, I highly recommend it. We're getting down to the bottom of this, which is kind of crazy. Your lesson number 6 in 28 things I learned by the time I turned 28 is time is your most precious asset. It really is one of the most valuable things that you can offer people. Your time to go out with friends, your time when you need alone time. You're going to realize, I feel like I especially have as I've gotten older, how long life is and how short the days are. You know, days are long, years are short, whatever it is. Like, you really start to realize there are so many moments in life that like your time really matters, and ways to use it exactly how you want to become even harder as you get older. So make sure you take advantage of the time that you do have when you have it. Lesson number 5 is take the damn photo. Take it. Listen, who cares? Be cringy. Take that influencer pic and post it on Instagram and get 1,000 likes. Iconic. You're so cool. Or 10 likes. Or you know what? 0 likes, because we're not worried about the competition. We're creating more, not consuming. So you know what? Take the picture. Who cares who's watching? Give them a show. What do we have to lose? Listen, life is short. Make it a movie. Lesson number 4. Huge lesson. Actions speak louder than words. Take it to heart. I mean, I feel like I've noticed that a lot in friendships and things like that, and noticing the actions of friendships that maybe aren't organic or aren't natural or aren't genuine, and noticing those changes in life and just shifting your boundaries based off understanding what's best for you. You often have to prioritize yourself, especially as you're getting older, because your time is your most precious asset. So don't be afraid to say no. And seeing the actions of other people is going to speak louder than the promises that you're getting that might not be real. My lesson number 3, which is so important for a birthday, is that everything deserves to be celebrated. I think we should throw more parties, okay? In adulthood, we don't have enough parties. First off, you woke up this morning, celebrate it. My birthday, celebrate it. Seeing friends for the first time in a long time, celebrate it. Did you get a raise? Celebrate it. You took a chance on yourself, all those things. You should be bragging about your achievements. You deserve a cheerleader. Be the cheerleader that you deserve for yourself and for your friends. You know what? Celebrate all the little things. I feel like that's something that, truthfully, Danielle has taught me maybe in this last year, especially in having her as a friend. It's incredible. Like when I launched my podcast, this is not something I would have expected to be celebrated, which maybe that feels silly to say, but I just like, for me, it was something I was really looking forward to. It's an extension of my brand. It's an extension of my content. I don't know. At the time, I didn't really feel like I celebrated much of anything. She texted me and she was like, we're going out to dinner. We're having a girls' night. We're getting dressed up. And everybody we met that night, she told that I had a podcast. cheerleader. And that instilled in me that it is so valuable to get to cheer yourself on through all of your life achievements, big and small. I think oftentimes people try to like say that it's embarrassing to like be proud of even the littlest achievement. I think about the audition process for my acting career right now, and even getting a small audition deserves to be celebrated. I didn't even book a role yet. But listen, I'm getting an audition. That deserves a little high five. Come on. Everything. Why not? What do we have to lose? If anything, it just brings you more joy. Number 2, being embarrassed is overrated. I literally just talked about embarrassment, but the truth is, who are you trying to impress anyway? If it's not yourself, it doesn't matter. Just live your life. As long as you're not hurting anybody or like, you know, I mean, you can cause a little bit of a scene. Like, I don't hate that for you. I kind of love it. But like, I almost want to say don't bother anybody. You know what I mean? But who cares? You're never going to see them again. Unless you know them, then that's going to be a little bit awkward maybe. Like maybe pick the room. You know what I mean? Like maybe avoid the little bit. No, you know what? Embarrassment is overrated. I lied. Doesn't matter. Slay the house down wherever you are. And our last lesson, my number 1 for 28 lessons I learned before turning 28, is that timing is everything. This is the lesson that I feel like I hold so true to my heart, because if I didn't go to engineering, I wouldn't have realized how much I loved film and TV and gone back to school. And if I didn't go to school when I did, TikTok wouldn't have been around and I wouldn't have started making videos. And if I started dating my boyfriend earlier, maybe we wouldn't have ended up together, because maybe we would have, I don't know, not grown in other ways that made us better partners for each other now and had experiences that led us to where we are or faced the challenges that we did. And all of it happened for a reason. And the lessons that I learned along the way are what made me so ready for the next steps that I took. You know, it really is that timing is everything. You can think that you're ready for something, but the universe and the world and the higher powers all know better. And they know that everything's going to happen exactly when it's meant to. And as you get older, just think about how lucky that you have so many incredible things coming up that you don't even know about because you haven't hit that time yet. So I just want to remind you that and tell you that I love you. And I'm so proud of you. I hope that you learned a lesson today from my 28 lessons. And if you didn't, then I hope that you take a moment to at least celebrate yourself on March 30th. Like I will be celebrating myself, because we can all just do it together. It's all of our birthday. Come on. Why not? What do we have to lose? I'm so happy that you're here. Don't forget to follow this podcast on all the platforms. You can find me at Anna Exitar over on Instagram for all of your podcast updates. You can also follow along the podcast at The Anna Guide on Instagram and TikTok. And check out the full video versions of these episodes over on YouTube, where you can comment, like, subscribe, and let us know how you feel about our beautiful little cinematic masterpiece that I'm really proud of. And I'm proud of you. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.